If this was 1367 right now, you would think that I am a grotesquely ugly freak. But why? To understand that, we need to look at the physiognomy of the Middle Ages, the belief that your outer appearance reflects your inner soul. Take my skin and these little freckles and moles I got here, right? In a strictly agrarian society, freckles, blemishes, sunspots, and a tan is not a sign of leisure. It was a mark of the peasantry. To be beautiful was to be lily white, and this symbolises the fact that you were wealthy enough to stay indoors. Freckles were usually categorised as sunspots or blemishes that corrupted the skin's purity. By 14th century standards, my face suggests I've spent my whole life toiling in a field, which immediately disqualifies me from the noble ideal. So, my nose, while a button nose does me a bit of favours with modern beauty standards, the medieval ideal favoured a long, straight nose. To them, this represented nobility and high-mindedness. Small snub noses or button noses like mine were often used in medieval marginalia as a caricature to represent lower classes or a lack of intellectual stature. Secondly, with a naturally small forehead, I'm effectively failing the most important purity test for medieval beauty standards. To a medieval observer, a low forehead suggested a lack of refinement and a closeness to earth. I don't know, it doesn't sound like a bad thing to me. But this was the antithesis of the airy, celestial beauty that they prized. While we use contour and fringes to balance our face nowadays, a 14th century stylist would see my forehead as a physical manifestation of a cluttered and unintellectual mind. I'd be expected to reach for the quick line and the tweezers immediately to get that thing nice and big. Now, the eyes. This is where the theology of the face gets proper brutal. My eyes are dark brown, hooded and downturned. The literal opposite of the medieval beauty standard. The 14th century elite were obsessed with wide-set grey or blue eyes that looked perpetually startled or open. Because my eyelids are hooded and the outer corners turned down, a medieval observer would interpret that of the deadly sin of spiritual sloth and melancholy. Heavy lidded eyes were usually used in religious art to represent shady, shifty characters, or those burdened with a heavy soul. Now my hair presents another historical contradiction. While the medieval ideal of beauty prized golden blonde hair, it had to be natural and, crucially, long. Long hair was a woman's natural veil. The fact that mine is short and chemically bleached is a double sin. Short hair for women was actually sometimes a punishment for adultery or a sign of penance. And using lye or sulphur to achieve blonde hair, which women did do, frequently mocked as a sign of desperate vanity. So it's the right colour, but the wrong sanctity. If this was 1367, I wouldn't just be considered unattractive. My features would be read as a literal signature of a